Perfect. All right.
And can you hold it somewhere where it's not too far from you?
Okay.
So kind of this way. And you can either hold it that way or you put it somewhere on your desk so that
Wow.
it points to your mouth.
I
If
like.
it's possible.
I really like your accent already. Yes. You know, eight
Okay.
years ago, I traveled to Singapore almost every month. Yes.
But
So
why not
I know.
anymore?
I decided to move back to USA because I take my son to school here. Yes, yes.
You live in LA at the moment, right?
Long Beach, right? Where a lot of things going crazy with the new, what they call Trump order. You know, a lot of people, either you go like him a lot or you're going to go against him. And I'm sure that the impact would be felt in ASEAN as well. It's coming.
I'm sure.
Yes, and I'm sure that you're from Germany, right? Beautiful country. And I used to work for CAS, Konrad Adenauer Stiftung.
Yes.
Yes, yes. So I know your the representative a lot, very much. So
Ansgar Gra is in Singapore. Ansgar is his name. He's working on a lot of projects.
yes,
CAS,
yes.
so Konrad Adenauer Stiftung, they're doing a lot also in Singapore.
They've been there for a long time, and thank you for saving, for working in my country despite so much hurdle, you know, that we need to overcome. And I'm sure when, you know, you've probably been to my country as well and witnessed for yourself the reality of life. It's much more than we think. And all of those are the impact, you know, as a product of the Khmer Rouge regime. Yes. So,
That's true.
yes. So,
And about that we want to talk. So you wanted to introduce yourself.
Yes,
so let's
yes.
start with that.
Let's start with that. So once again, as a survivor of the Khmer Rouge regime, I want to begin by thanking you and the German network ARD for honoring me and amplifying, you know, survivor voice on especially memory, justice, truth-telling, and healing after the Khmer Rouge. That's a topic we try to address today. I'm also so grateful for the opportunity to share my reflection on the killing field and their lasting impact nearly 50 years ago to my month, right? But you know, in my situation, I want to be clear with you so we have a context to talk about. I'm a survivor of the regime of the Khmer Rouge, but I'm also academic. You know, I teach. That means I teach at the university. I base everything on doing research. Okay? So my perspective is based not only on my experience as a survivor of the atrocity and the experience of all the survivors, but also based on my research. Because I know that so much things. So my understanding is that. So in other words, what I'm going to tell you today is based on a lot of my encounter and also my field work with interacting with people. By no means, you know, I want to, as you know, we had to define the truth as it is. Instead as it's out to be, you know. We try to avoid subjectivity as much as you can, but if you conduct research, you get the voices of people and you get your data, you get things. That's what, you know, you cannot stay in Singapore, for example, and start writing about Cambodia. In which case, there's so many scholars, you know, Alex Hinton, Greg Etchison, and Ben Kerman, they all live next to me here. And they produce books and books and books and books. And there's no voice from the Cambodian. Would you surprise? I'm not. You see? So that's happened when the country don't have the human resource to do that. And yet the voice of the international community, such as yourself, with the technology, with the knowledge, gonna fully more resounding than the voice. But if you give me this platform now, I'm honored and share you what it is from the survivor and from somebody who's educated, who have some knowledge, deep knowledge about the Cambodian culture, about how Vietnamese and how China and also America and East Germany, for example, how much they involved in the Cambodian genocide regime. And hopefully you give yourself a more complete picture instead of throwing, only a certain angle.
Thank you very much for that. So what is your impression? So you're a survivor who want to talk. Is it valid for most of the people, or also some survivors afraid?
Oh, I'm sure that you've been in Cambodia. Cambodia, we live in a culture of silence, If you know that we use the word, the PTSD, Western way of trying to heal Cambodia, people sometimes it's not effective because we are completely traumatized, and we focus on the culture of silence because that during the Khmer Rouge regime, to be alive is to be silent. And until now, the present government of Cambodia, you're probably going to go soon, you speak up too much, you're going to get even a transitional justice, transitional repression. Lum Kamya is just shot dead in Thailand, and a scholar like me, for example, we are been watched, been thing, and that's a product of what you call the Khmer Rouge area still ruling Cambodia, despite the UN spending 337 million, 16 years, all of this, and my question to you, or maybe to the world, is a Cambodian, the victim like me, how we benefit when you spend this much? That is, are you searching the justice for the leaders, or you just search for the victim, just like the Holocaust in your country? So this is clear, and it need to be raised, it need to be acknowledged, it need to be amplify, like your work right now. It try to get my voice heard. So this way, never again, really never gonna happen, instead of projecting and symbolically doing just for the show. King Sihanouk in 2005 state very clearly that this tribunal is it's a comedy and a hypocrisy. We need to save money for helping the poor people, and yet we just put down on a show, and only one survivor is in prison now. He's 94, 95 now. Is that what the UN called justice? Is that what the current regime called justice? It just to me it just a show of justice instead of producing some people much more from the bottom up approach,
We'll
All right.
talk about that later as well.
Okay, you go
Because
ahead and
mentioned
shoot.
Thailand. Are you afraid that this could happen to you also in LA?
Definitely. Now, no way is safe nowadays since the shooting of Lim Kamya. I even wrote an article about that. And, the element of the ruling party is all over the place now. But remain silent is, is for the benefit of the oppressor. I'm an intellectual, so I cannot have eye and pretend I'm blind. When people cry, I pretend I don't hear their suffering. My mouth cannot be shut like before. That's why it happened when you give way to all of those. Just like your country is a Holocaust. So, but is the intellectual right now still, go to school and develop critical thinking and remain silent? we're gonna might as well we're gonna move the back and be and practice basabat. We have anthropology told people have to change society instead of letting society change you. So I'm part of those people, and you just check my today. You just check AI Savasana Pool. You will find out how much books I read and how much thinking I do. So this way, give you an idea of the work I do. But I use my pen and to heal. It's for me that kind of healing, talking to you, get the word out based on experience and more research. Do those.
Very, very important work. Let's talk about your personal experience. So, what specific memories stand out when you think back?
Oh my
that
God!
time?
What does stand out? How can I erase? The picture, the harrowing memory of my mother being undressed, get clubbed, and two brothers and two sisters, and get them into the pit. This is beyond word. You can listen to me, you can hear me, you can sympathize with me, but you're never gonna feel what I felt. Impossible, just like the Holocaust. Anne Frank is example of what you do. So all of those kind of things, it's beyond the word unimaginable. You cannot imagine. The world don't know that. The world took it for granted. They only know it through movie, to all of those, but all things. Jennifer, can I show you something?
Yes, please.
You see this picture?
Mm-hmm.
What do you see?
See a man that looks a bit strange, with the mouth and the eyes turned around. Doesn't look very healthy.
Yes, that's a picture of me here. I draw it because I write enough, so maybe I draw it and I post it. One face, I'm very happy, right?
On the one side, yeah.
Yeah,
So
one
it's
side,
this way.
you look at me, hey, Mr. Pooh, you look good. What's going on with you? But you know what you see the other side? That's what torment me. That's the killing field did it to me because I lost, especially my mother. I have so much regret that I cannot even buy her a nice meal just to tell her thank you for giving me birth. You've been to my country already, so you know how Cambodian using Buddhism, Katanyuta Thua Katek Viti, it's humility and pay back to whoever gave you birth. Such the importance of life. Without our parent, I'm not here. You see. So this is a picture. This is me identically. So a lot of people just see, we walk on the street, we put up our face, yeah, who are you, Mr. Cambodia, but it's much more inside of us,
So concerning your family, have you been the only one who survived, or were there other
No,
brothers?
I have two brothers and two sisters. My two brothers and two sisters were left behind. And 6 of us, we have 10 in the family. My father was a governor, so we are on the list of people who need to be eliminated by the Khmer Rouge, because you probably, I don't need to tell you about
But
this.
still, you need to tell it the German people who don't know about the history and the story, right? That's why, please repeat.
Yes. So that's good. So if you want me to give you that, we are.
To explain why your family has been a target to Khmer Rouge.
Oh, my family been a target? Definitely, because we live in the city. We live in Phnom Penh. And after 4 hours after the Khmer Rouge come, they kick those people out. And there's so many more people, and they, among the people, the 2 million that stay in Phnom Penh, or my mother, 2 brothers and 2 sisters, along with all the family members, with them. So that's what happened, and, we see people dying, people suffering, pain, and that is still haunting non-stop, over and over, So that's how this 17 April 1975, it's a beginning. Yet, they victory over the Long No regime, but on the other side, it's a start, hell start, all break loose, So this is what happened. But my point of view here, and I'm sure the world know enough about Cambodia now, because it will take us maybe 1,000 of hours just to tell our thing, but to get some context more than content, and like everybody else, just like the Khmer Rouge Tribunal right now, they need to look at Cambodia history and dive deeply more than look at the surface. Everybody now just point at the Khmer Rouge. But what happened before the Khmer Rouge? What Sihanouk, what Sam Lot, the Communist Party start their first revolution in the 60s on Sam Lot in Battambang. That's the first one. After that, that the American bombing, Sihanouk, and why those kind of things don't put into context. And after that, the Vietnamization of Cambodia for 10 years. No one do a research on how many people died during that. No one do a research on American bombing, how many people in fact. But for sure, the Khmer Rouge, we have fully documented, the document center, DC Camp in Cambodia, have all of this. Is that, to me, I think just, I need to dig deeper into the reality of this. Because if they cannot find justice for my mother, I will. I cannot find closure if I'm still cannot find justice for my mom. Even I have to do it alone.
But how you want to find justice?
Well, by speaking to you, raising up question, a lot of things, write a book about it. I will, by the way, I will contribute my part on our discussion here. Whatever I repeat to you, I will write and publish, on the 17th of April 2025, I will publish my, I have a title already for you. So my contribution.
I would be interested in that. If you could share it with me then when you publish it, or a couple of days before, that would be great.
Oh, of course. That's what you call that? That's a scholar. We do that all the time. We just want to present the truth in our thing. So this way we all benefit for more knowledge, and especially from the local perspective. Yes.
One organizational thing. We just have 2 more minutes left in our session. Are you fine to do 10 minutes more?
It's okay. I do 10 minutes more.
Okay, thank you.
You go ahead, shoot, because I end up by talking just so much inside of me. I want to get out, and I can tell you, you give me a microphone, you give me the floor. As a teacher,
You talk. That's great. That's good to hear. Then I have one more question. So how do you think those experience of surviving the Khmer Rouge regime shaped your life until today?
Oh, that I told you you have a lot of interesting. I call it a soul searching. You ever, for example, you ever go to the S21 when you're in Cambodia?
I will go next week, Tuesday.
But you're gonna go there, right? Okay. Can you do me a favor? I just ask you a favor, okay? And you do this not for you, but you do this for the victim of the Khmer Rouge. And it only gonna take you no more than 2 minutes. Okay? I want you to look straight into the eye, the face, the eye of the victim. Okay? Just look at one. And you see all those yourself, but look deeply and look how their face mean to you. Just like it's a Holocaust, when all the Jews getting punished by all those people. And you probably see what I see. That they don't have no soul no more. They so much in fear. They're so rigid, they frozen in time. You see, they are at the mercy of the things. They are so afraid. They don't have no courage, no nothing. And in Cambodia, we call it Batsbat. Batsbat means broken courage. So this is how the Khmer Rouge try to do, But and on the top of that, those peasants, what they call the base people, they are not educated, they're illiterate. So they give them, all of those, they've been trained and indoctrinated through viewing that all of us are their enemy. We are parasite, enemy of the state, enemy of the revolution, you see. And since the Khmer Rouge leader destroy all the institution, you see, they don't have no recourse, so they give a blank check to those people to use violence, to kill, to starve. You see, no one know about this, but we Cambodians, we know. When you don't have strong institution in any society, this gonna come. Because the fault is the Khmer Rouge themselves, leader, destroy all the institution. To start from a corrupt society, to destroy and to obliteration of Khmer culture, to create what they call classless and utopian society based on agriculture. You see, this is the foundation, Yet, when the world open up, get the Vietnamese come. The war didn't end, you know that. When the Vietnamese invasion on 1979 to 1989, you see? So what happened? Did you ask? Well, you're supposed to come here and get rid of the Khmer Rouge, but you don't. You know why? Because the regime now is still the Khmer Rouge. So how can the Khmer Rouge been evaluated by the other Khmer Rouge? You see? And I'm sure that during your trip you will see all of those. It's happening. So in other words, my point here to you is to say that, we live at the expense of the international community and the current Khmer Rouge government now narrative to only try 5 top and most responsible leader, for the killing of 2 million. And yet they give amnesty to all the Khmer Rouge that continue to live side by side with us. How would you feel if a killer gonna kill my mom, gonna live by side myself? And yet, there's 3 types of Khmer Rouge right now who live in Cambodia, for your information. Say some of them, they have some remorse, Okay? Some of them just use hey, I just follow order as a deal. You follow order, you kill my mother, you can kill my mother, but why you have to undress her? Why you want to use a club, put her, you know? This is merciless killing, cognitive dissonance, right? This is savagery. This is more than killing. This is hatred. This is revenge. This is extreme violence, in which case everybody was combined. And the last one of the Khmer Rouge, they deny. Part of the genocide stage, they deny. I do this for my thing. You can see Khieu Samphan, Nuon Chea, all the top leaders of Khmer Rouge never admit any wrongdoing so far.
So you talked earlier also about justice. Do you believe that justice has fully been served for the victims of Khmer Rouge?
Oh my God. Barely, come on, it's a joke. To me, everybody knows that, but we are too smart to tell. But in my book, in my essay, this, my reflection, on 50 years later, the Khmer Rouge, confronting trauma, justice, and truth would address all these issues. Because the truth need to be known for the people. And the other thing, you probably have a chance to go talk to, but do not talk too much to the people in Phnom Penh. Anybody, you like Phnom Penh? Of course you do. But talk to the forgotten one, the one who live on the countryside, in a rural area. They're human too. But almost international researchers, they interview all the same. But me, when I do research, I give voice to those people that I have to reach out to them. Because
what do they tell you?
Huh?
What do they tell you differently than the people in Phnom Penh?
Oh my God, so much different. But number one, they suspecting you. If you go there and start talking to them, they're going to say, what does this woman want from me? It's not their fault, okay? Because broken courage has been done to them. It's a society issue here. They tell me something like this. They said, what is this international tribunal gonna do? They've been manipulated by the present leadership. It's all about, it's a political compromise, to say, hey, we did it. Yeah, it just like you said, it's a show. They said, why you waste money for that? When right now, the Khmer Rouge leaders still run the country, and yet, 2 days ago, I'm sure that you follow the news with regard to the government to put pass a law on the National Assembly about denial of the mass atrocity, and they're going to punish you with more. So why they do that? Is they do that for the people? Or they do this to protect themselves? This is my question, okay? I just want to express the truth to you. As they honestly want to make sure that those people... You tell me how many people in Cambodia doesn't suffer from the Khmer Rouge? No one left untouched.
What do you think? What's the reason why they did it?
Well, knowing from past history, So the 2013, they did this already. They passed a law already on that. At that time, the CNOP, Kum Sukha, was talking that the Vietnamese people, who's the one who found S-21, right? So the leader during that time put the law 2013, not for the people, but to make sure Kum Sukha, you see. Now the same thing happened. So it with one leader left. I'm sorry to tell you this, but the Khmer Rouge Tribunal fully legitimized the Vietnamese invasion. They do the right thing. Hey, why you complain? They think, but 10 years, and still now, Also the newly led. Why those people? They know the story. Are they honest? They look themselves in the mirror. What do you know? Why they don't go to testify? Why the U.S. don't testify? Why China, who knows that, don't testify? Why Vietnam don't testify? You know, and you know yourself that some of the top Khmer Rouge leader who changed side, Hun Sen give amnesty to all of them, right? Kai Po, for example, is one of the big name, and his son now is a military general, and there's so many other. There's nothing, but this is
May
how
I
it
ask you
happened.
we have just 2 more minutes. May I ask you 2 more questions, each 1 minute? The first one would be, how do you commemorate the lives lost during this time?
Well, elder like us, you know, we cannot count on the tribunal justice. So we go to pagoda, we turn to karma to find consolation, to find comfort. Because Buddhists believe in karma. You know, whatever actions, you're going to have consequence. Since the government cannot provide us, since we do that. So a group of us going to go to pagoda. I go there every day. You can Google on my blog. I go there and
So
I
you have
post.
also a pagoda close to LA where you live?
Yeah. Oh, LA is.
Good.
I find this, and this give me a chance with other Cambodian elder to share our frustration. You know, one of them testify at the thing, Pani, but I always end up by giving a talk to just get out like I'm speaking to you. You know, it's a way to do. And one more thing that it helped me. You know, whatever they do, maybe they can get away now. But history won't let them get away. True history would never let those people away. Just like Holocaust, just like Rwanda, just like Yugoslavia, just like Turkey, who went through this. It might use a short time. But you know, scholar like me would dig into the past. Would gonna find something that, hey, can you look at this? You do this for your country, you do this to empower your loyalty, that to remain in power, to govern thing. So this is a issue. And yet the UN who get so many scholars, so many intellectuals, so many PhD, yet they fail to provide justice, full justice, real justice, true justice, and the truth to all of us. The truth cannot be uncovered unless everyone gonna come out and testify. Tell the truth, tell it what happened to you. Like me, I'm just telling what happened, and then you give you some sound to describe. You know. Thank you.
And I have one last question. The last question would be, so there's also a future, a young generation in Cambodia. What lessons should they learn from history, from this dark period? Because I'm not sure how present it is for them, for the young ones.
Well, you know, I teach in Cambodia at Panyasatra University for 8 years. You know, Cambodia are not, they need to learn history. The history been written not by leader, it's written by people who give them the true history. You know, for example, you know, DC Camp produced Democratic of Cambodia in 1975, 1979. Why is selective justice just history? Why they don't let them write about history, about the Vietnamese invasion, about K5, you know? Why they don't write about the U.S. bombing, what Nixon and Kissinger tried to do, you know? They even said, we're going to bomb you. Anything that move, we're going to bomb. You know, this is not about winning a war. It's about crushing people, dignity, integrity, all of this, you know. So they are worse than the Hitler themselves. You know, they decide to say, you know, anything that move, you bomb. What does this word resonate to you? Why they don't put those people also in ICC? You tell me. Why they, justice been so selective? The poor people like me continue to suffer. Yet, and we live in a culture of silence, in a culture of basbat, broken courage. Unless some people like you who gonna bring it up and say, hey, wait a minute, there's a guy here.
Thank you. Yeah. So that's why it's so important that you speak up and that you talk to us. So thank you very much for your time.
No, thank you.
And now you spent me 50 minutes more than we agreed on. So thank you very much for that.
No. You just helping me a lot to get my voice heard and bring them my perspective and my reflection on what is
Thank you very much.
how the real Cambodian people, the elder, continue to suffer, to live in trauma, and we need to get out of shell and find some closure, some healing that we all deserve after 50 years. It getting not better. You can see the oppression, you can see the human right violation, you can see all this kind of thing happen, and yet the world just turned another blind eye on this, under the quote unquote sovereignty, like Asian, I can close the door and kill everybody. And you just let me think, I think in today's world, we cannot do that. Sorry. We need to care for the marginalized community, for the have less, thing.
That's
So
why we try to raise awareness for that.
it's
You could stop the recording, otherwise it's getting too long.
okay. Thank you.
Because then you will have problems